The Catenary Line. Before the swallows, early in July, gathered alternately upon it, facing each other, chattering next to each other, right in my left ear, in an excited school party English from another country, the unattractive, thick and black cable known as the catenary wire by the electrician who shocks me with the spark of its name, swept down from just above me in a long catenary curve, and until I stood up to see what the fuss was about and called for my wife, this old and useless conductor had been ignored. But I have reason to believe now that the pensioned off and condemned line had laid a wager by my side, and certain that I cared little for electricity, but having seen me often looking up at birdsong, divined a distant prospect that I might throw a lifeline instead of pulling it down. And in that faultless realization, as soon as the allowance was turned off, while it tried not to be too obvious in the sky, because I was so near, high up in the clouds, it was supported as the years began to fly, calling in its own inimitable way outside my office window for the birds. That old power has been rerouted now underground, and the lifeless line no longer carries electricity from just above my head to PJ Auto's garage. But I had not got round to having it taken down. With the swallows here with too much of a breathless joy, now whispering for Jane, I felt the solicitous attenuation within that unsightly wire, observed all the rest harrow there is after labour catching flies under the bridge, and saw the live purple and green backpacks of playtime after the childish lessons with pencil and paper laid down together upon the Calais paved ways. As soon as we were there for the first time, looking at the swallows, an abrupt remark from an air-driven wheel nut remover from Paul and Julian's garage sent them on their way. And Jane overheard the mother of all mechanics, Hermione, whose name, if you pronounce it correctly, almost rhymes with catenary, calling, "Does anyone want a cup of tea?" And upside down, muffled in the distance from underneath a car, her son, Julian, replying, "Is the Pope a Catholic?" Bristling with electricity, the copper from its long home in that patient, retired and empty line struck out now to galvanize me to sing of its iridescent days in the air that were gone, and to measure the current in what was left of that long, beautiful dip of service curving down from above me so artlessly. I cannot see how I could take it down now, for I would lose the distinction of swallows at my shoulder and their squidgy squeaking, now like the bright wet chittling insides of balloons, now twittering with the nut and bolt volt torque tightening sounds from the workshop below. But if it is to be taken down, I'll join with that atomic inspiration that yearns here, as the electrons of the copper did, inside that live wire, curving away from me with the catenary flight of the swallow, for one last word, while there is life in me yet. But if that supplication fails of mine, and the long-tailed letters leave for southern skies, they will be back for you after I am gone. And if you feel the resistance here, as the end approaches, for the catenary line.